Namaste everyone. Welcome to the day one, day two version of the Vesak festival. The Vesak energies, when the full moon of Vesak happens, it lasts for 2 days before the day of and 2 days after Vesak itself. So you have 5 days in which you can capitalize on your spiritual practices, meditate, purify, wish writing, all of those good things, so that the Vesak energies come to you more and more. How many of you attended the Vesak meditation proper, whether it was online or as part of a group or retreat? Yeah, most of you, many of you, and it was fantastic. So what we're going to be doing is, now that you've attended Vesak meditation, now that you've been attending it for some time, if you can write in the chats which year, like for how many years have you been attending Vesak meditations, that'd be nice. So we can have different levels of experience, different levels of understanding. And what we're going to be talking about right now, let's put this on the screen share. So, okay, so some of you have been doing it for the first time, 3 years, 15 years. Wow, that's that's really something. 15 years is a long time for the energy to kind of build up in your system. That's fantastic. 5 years, 4 years, that's a long time. That means you've got a lot of that energy in your system, which means you probably have a sizable collection of Vesak water. How many of you have your Vesak water collection bottles? Did you see that the Vesak water was distributed for at the end of the session, or you were told at the beginning of the session to have your water bottles ready for Vesak? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is getting the meditation on the screen. Just give me a moment. Share. Okay, let me know if you can see the screen. You should be able to get a view of both side by side. All right, you're getting that? Okay, fantastic, perfect. So let's begin with an invocation. Keep your spine straight, chin parallel to the floor. Keep your shoulders as low down as possible. Connect your tongue to the palate. We'll put our hands in the receptive position, palms upwards. Inhale slowly and exhale slowly. Inhale and exhale. To the Supreme Being, Lord Parabrahman, to my spiritual teacher, Master Chokok Sui, to all the spiritual teachers, the Holy Gurus, Holy Masters, Saints, Archangels, Holy Angels, Beings of Light, and spiritual helpers. To my higher soul, to my divine self, we humbly invoke the blessings of divine light, love, and power for healing, inner healing, physical healing, psychological healing, relationship healing, spiritual healing. Thank you for divine help, guidance, and protection, for guiding our thoughts, words, and actions, that we may become clean, clear, and proper instruments for spreading the light. Thank you in full. Inhale slowly. Hold. Exhale slowly. Hold. Inhale slowly and deeply. Hold. Exhale slowly and deeply. Hold one more time. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Breathe normally. Keep your eyes closed. Breathe normally. Gently open your eyes. Gently open your eyes. You can see the screen. If yes, just give me a thumbs up or say a yes in the chat. All right, perfect. Wesak formations and initiations. This whole thing starts off with two very important figures. One who you probably recognize as Lord Gautama Buddha, also known as Shakyamuni Buddha, or as popularly known, Lord Buddha. Now, the Buddha is derivative of the word buddhi, which means intellect or understanding. There are many, many, many Buddhas in the Buddhist tradition, in the Buddhist culture. There are several Buddhas. Okay, Buddha Maitreya is one of them. Buddha Kuan Yin is one of them. Buddha Padmasambhava is one of them. And these are just three of the names, or two of the names that you're already probably very familiar with. Buddha Kuan Yin, I'm sure you must have heard of them. Om Mani Padme Hum, that's her mantra or their mantra. And Buddha Padmasambhava, of course, from the pranic healing Ahatic Yoga system. So Lord Maitreya, the word Maitreya comes from the word Maitri, which means friendship. So this is a god who is super friendly, super nice. In fact, one of his versions is a very laughing version, who you may know as Laughing Buddha. But this is part of his weight loss phase. Well, that's a different thing. He's a very sweet person and he doesn't much mind anything that you can say. So we'll talk about the laughing Buddha some other time. Let's go into the details of it. Okay, go straight into the story. Many thousand years ago, there became the need for one of the holy people, one of the adepts, those who are spiritually advanced, to become the next world teacher. Okay, it was decided that humanity needs to bring its own world teacher to be able to supply its own Christ, its own Buddha, and not necessarily get someone from outside. So if you have your organization, promote someone from within the organization instead of hiring somebody from outside. So the great beings in charge of all of this, they decided, all right, one of you adepts need to become the world teacher. What we are told, according to stories, according to legends, no one had quite reached the level required for that big of a responsibility. Out of his great love for humanity, the Lord Gautama, the great spiritual being known as Lord Gautama, he instantly offered himself that I will make myself ready for whatever tests, whatever purifications, whatever efforts may be necessary to become qualified. You with me so far? Make sense? Yeah, all right. So no one was qualified. It was needed for someone to come from within the system. No one was qualified. They didn't want to hire someone from outside. Lord Gautama said, I will make this happen. Now, you may have heard of the word the great sacrifice. Okay, this is what it actually means. The great sacrifice of the Buddha is spoken of in all the sacred books, but they have not yet understood the nature of the sacrifice. And many people think, and you must have heard this also, that the Lord Buddha comes from a very great distance, and then he's there for only 8 minutes, and then he's blessing. So it's very difficult a journey to come from the very high levels all the way down to our astral plane or to our earth levels, to the gross energies. You must have heard this version. High level, low level, that's a great sacrifice. What this means is something a little different. Let's look into this diagram. Can you see the diagram on the left side of the screen? At the bottom, you should be seeing something called physical, then astral, mental, buddhic, atmic, anupadaka, and adi. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels. This is kind of our journey. This is where we need to go. All right. Look at yourself in the man, the third stage of it, because we are assuming anybody present here, we are not in any of the animal forms. Anyone here, if you identify as a dog or a cat, that's good for you, bow wow and meow. But we are looking at the humanity, the humanity side of it. When it says man here, it doesn't mean men, it means humanity. It's a collective noun, right? So it's not discriminatory. We have developed our physical body. Everyone here with a physical body, raise your hand. Anybody here without a physical body, wave your hand. No, okay. No, that's going to be just frightening. Okay, then the astral body or the emotional body. Then it goes up to the mental body, the lower mental and the higher mental. Very softly summarizing this, on the left side, the animals at the first stage and second stage, they're all group souls. So all the dogs, cats, animals you see, they're not individual souls. They're multiple little souls. So one soul is split into multiple parts, and it inhabits the body of each individual dog. And at the end of their lifetimes, their incarnation, they get merged back into one set and it becomes a group soul, or it returns to the group soul. But as the group soul evolves, as the higher soul evolves, it becomes individualized and it becomes a human being, the first primitive human being. And then as they evolve more and more and more, their causal body and the other higher bodies develop. Now, Lord Buddha, he's coming from somewhere higher up. You see all these little stars here, where I'm putting my computer mouse? That's kind of where he's coming from. And he has to come to our level to help us understand. All right, keep this as theory. This is a whole book by itself. We're not getting into it in so much detail. The great sacrifice that he made was spending thousands and thousands of years in order to qualify himself. He was going to be the first of mankind, of humanity, who would help his fellow human beings by teaching them the wisdom of life. Okay, that is what was the great sacrifice. Imagine how life is for you. Easy life, good life, all okay? Ups and downs? Imagine having to go through this for thousands and thousands and thousands of years just so you can teach other people. Now, I'm sure many of you have had you're saying the screen is quite small, can't read. All right, let me just make a change here. Let me just try and make this a little easier for everybody. There. How about now? Is the screen a little bigger? Better? All right. You can no longer see me, but that's okay. Just the sound of the voice should be sufficient. All right. If you miss me, just say hi. Okay. So the great sacrifice that the Lord Buddha made for thousands and thousands of years was that he had to qualify himself to become the world teacher. This was the tremendous sacrifice which he made. There were certain minor matters which he could not perfectly attain at that time. And therefore, so, okay, what happens is in our cycle of evolution, you're supposed to work everything out. You're supposed to read all the lessons, pass all the tests, give your exams, and then move on to the next level. That's how it works in school or college or university or your education programs. In his particular case, in the Lord Buddha's case, he skipped some steps because the need was so high. So because of the particular peculiar circumstances surrounding the life of Lord Gautama, two differences were made, two separate acts were performed. We'll get into that later. Instead of developing himself wholly to the higher work, he has remained sufficiently in touch with this world, with our world, so that he can be reached when we invoke. This is the most important part of the whole thing. This is a super, super important part. Imagine that you are evolving. Some of you have been practicing. If you're going to take screenshots, that's one thing, but we'll be sharing this part of the recording, but don't take screenshots just like that, okay? Because this is part of a course. Don't take unauthorized screenshots. We'll ask you to kind of respect intellectual property. Is that understood? Is that okay? Yeah? All right, perfect. Thank you. Instead of developing himself wholly to the higher work, he kept himself at a level of evolution where even those below him could reach out to him with one simple invocation. Imagine that you have sacrificed your development of going forward and forward just so you can understand the language of a 1-month-old child. All the tears and cryings of a 1-month-old. That is the difference. That's a sacrifice. The second thing which he did was he also undertook to return to the world once every year on the anniversary of his death and shed upon it a flood of blessing. Now we know that the Lord Buddha, his birth, his enlightenment, and the date of his death were the same occasion, the same day. Okay, and he said that on the anniversary of that, he's going to come back and give all the blessings. Now the Lord Buddha has his own special type of force or power, which comes in an outpouring when he gives his blessings to the world. This is super potent, super, 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 super powerful. Because by his position, by his authority, he has access to planes of nature, higher planes, which we cannot comprehend, which we cannot even bring down to our level. So he comes with so much energy, so much power, it has to be transmuted or stepped down as a step down transformer and brought down to us. So if someone asks a really difficult question, you have some people who can, like Master Chua Kok Sui, who will take really complicated esoteric matters and simplify it. That's the kind of work done as a step down transformer. You with me on this so far? All clear? Okay, great. Now, thing is, when his energy comes in, just as a flood, it gets scattered all over the world. It just gets scattered, whoosh. So what happens is the energy finds for itself channels through which it can pour itself. And you can think of it just as water instantly finds an open pipe. So all those who are ready, those who have offered themselves as instruments and channels for the work, for the downpour, they are the ones who the energy finds, and it comes to them automatically. That's why some years, for those of you who've been meditating for a long time, you know that on some days the energy is more, some days the energy is less. How many of you felt that? Show of hands or yes or no on the chat. You felt that, right? Some days the energy is more, some days the energy is less. That is because the amount of energy available depends on you. Master Chua says the light is always there. How much light comes to you depends on you or us. So the Lord Buddha's energy comes in. If it finds willing channels and willing instruments, boom, energy goes right there, or whoosh, because water. Okay. So it brings strength, it brings peace to all those who are able to receive it. That's the key word here. Those who are able to receive it. If they're unable to receive it, good luck. Now, in connection with this visit of his, and separate from its esoteric significance, a separate ceremony, an external ceremony, is performed at the physical place in which Lord Buddha can be physically seen. Now, when you say physically seen, it doesn't mean with the physical eyes. It means at the etheric astral level. We consider those to be part of the physical thing, just as our chakras are part of the etheric body, right? The etheric body is part of the physical system, visible, invisible. Remember that from basic pranic healing? You guys with me? Everyone with me? All good so far? Or am I? Yeah? All right. Okay, cool. Fantastic. So the esoteric significance, how many of you have seen this picture, maybe on social media or in some books? Maybe you've seen that photo somewhere before or the other on the right-hand side. Lord Buddha, and there's some formation there. I'll just give you a bigger picture of that. You've got all these, you can see there's a little bit of a pentacle or a five-pointed star that's happening towards the bottom of the photograph. And there are these 5 colors which are radiating from him in various formations. Okay. Now let's explain what's happening here. This happens in a place called the Wesak Valley. It's just called the Wesak Valley. There's a description of all this. We go into more details on that in our book, Masters on the Path, in part of our Esoteric Study Club. It's kind of bottle-shaped. There's a stream on this side. There's a ravine. There's an altar on the ground that's raised up. You have the place where people gather. And you have the place where the brotherhood in the center, in that circle, that's where they stand. Let's explain the mechanism. Before I go into that, for those of you who've meditated in a group, especially those who've been meditating for a long time, did you remember hearing in the meditation or something? Did you hear in the meditations that 5-pointed star or this pointed star, circle of 5, circle of 7, circle of 9? Do you remember hearing any of those? Connect your ajna, connect your forehead. Did any of that happen? You might have heard that from some of, especially if you've been meditating for a long time or attending Vesak from before. Okay, person on this, connect your forehead, connect your ajna. You heard those things? Okay, well, we'll get into that a little bit. So when everyone's gathered, when the Lord Buddha is about to come, the Lord Maitreya, remember him from the second slide, the friendly Buddha, the Lord Maitreya, he comes forward, stands at the altar stone, stands at the head of the altar stone. Upon that altar, in the open space left in front, there's a golden bowl. The Lord Maitreya, he very respectfully places the rod of power and the circle behind him. So I'll just go one slide back. You see that circle over there of the brotherhood? That circle over there? The circle changes into a curved figure so that everyone's facing the altar. Everyone is directly placed there. So that's the rod of power. And you got the circle. They take all these different formations. They move themselves, rearranging themselves to different timelines. At the next change, the curved figure becomes a reverse triangle. So from there, it goes there. This figure in turn resolves into the 5-pointed star, with the Lord Maitreya still being at the southern point nearest the altar stone, and all the other great beings, all the great ones, also known as the Chohans, are the 5 points where the lines intersect. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all over there. So they're moving. This is geometry. They're using a form of sacred geometry to bring a lot of energy in to make this entire thing possible with so much energy downpour happening. And the rod of power, which straight line bulb and 2 tapering ends, looks a little bit like a version of the Vajra, if you know what that is. Now, energy is building up, energy is building up, energy is building up. And when the final stage is there of the ritual, they're chanting, okay? They're all making lots of chants are happening. When the chanting ceases, after a few moments of silence, the Lord Maitreya again takes the rod of power, takes it into his hands, raises it above his head, and in the Pali language, very sonorously, very powerfully, with a lot of reverence, he says, "All is ready. Master, come." Let that energy sink into you for a moment. Remember yesterday when you were doing the meditations, for those of you who are in the group, we did the Om chanting a few times. And then we chanted Om Mani Padme Hum. We did the chanting. There was some quietness. And then Master Chow went quiet, and then he said, okay, let us meditate. We did all the rituals, right? We first blessed, Om Mani Padme Hum, hands up for quite some time, and then hands back down, all that energy coming in. This is part of the entire ritualistic thing. So then Lord Maitreya takes the rod, holds it up, says, "All is ready, Master, come." Or, "All is ready, Master, come." Then he lays down the fiery rods. It's fiery. At the exact moment of the full moon, the Lord Buddha appears as a gigantic figure floating in the air just above the southern hills. So that's what that kind of looks like. So now if you can see, it's all that semicircle there. They have rearranged themselves into the five-pointed star. And you got the little circle, the little altar over there. And Lord Buddha, that's his size in comparison. Can you see that from the diagram? Visible? That's the mechanism. That's what happens. The figure is globed in light. That's the word they've used, englobed. So it's like a sphere of light, which is at the same time dazzling and yet transparent. And outside of that ring comes a ring of glorious ultramarine, which is kind of like blue, if you can see in the diagram. The first light, dazzling, then you got a bluish thing. Then in succession, golden yellow, the richest form of crimson, kind of red, pinkish red, pure silvery white, and then a magnificent scarlet. So what are the five colors? You got blue. Well, first you got the dazzling light. You got ultramarine, golden yellow, crimson, silvery white, and scarlet. Do the colors have a significance? Yes. Do we have the time to talk about it? Not today. They are chanting at this time, and what they're chanting is the Mahamangala Sutra, okay, or the Sutta, as some in Pali, as they say. So when they finish all their chanting, remember there's a golden bowl of water that was placed in the center of the altar? 4 or 5 slides back, there's a golden bowl of water. Lord Maitreya takes a golden bowl of water from the altar stone and holds it above his head for a few minutes. And all the people who are attending the meditation, who are attending Vesak, they have also got themselves empty vessels filled with water. They also follow his example. They raise it above their heads. I don't have a bowl of water, so I just raise my cup of tea, kind of like that. And since I've already raised the cup of tea, might as well take a sip. As this ends, a smile of love, of tremendous love, comes forward from Lord Buddha. He raises his right hand in the attitude of benediction. Attitude. He has an attitude of benediction, of benevolence, and a great shower of flowers falls among the people. Now, for those of you who watch old movies, especially those which are a little religious or spiritual type, sometimes you may have seen that when the gods are showering blessings, they actually look like flowers falling. And if you remember that from old movies, old movies, yeah, yeah. For those of the newer people, old movies for you is like childhood for me. So yeah, we'll just talk about different types. Anywho, as the members of the Brotherhood bow, the crowd prostrates itself, it goes down completely to get blessings, and the figure fades out of the sky. So Lord Buddha, he comes out for this particular time. He allows his energy to flow through the entire system, and then it clears off. All of these energies is absorbed by the water. Remember basic pranic healing? Water absorbs energy. That's why we have a saltwater bowl. Salt disintegrates energy, disintegrates dirty energy, water absorbs. What do you think that water was doing when it was there? Absorbing that energy. Golden. Remember what happens when electric violet comes, so those who do advanced pranic healing, it comes in contact with the etheric body, turns golden, which then turns into some other color. That is what's happening. That spiritual energy is being stepped down into a format which you can absorb, which you can consume. The members of the Brotherhood, they come up to the Lord Maitreya in the order of their admission. So in order of seniority, in order of hierarchy, each of them sips the water in the golden bowl, and the people in the crowd, they also sip their water. They drink their water, and the people, they take the remainder home as holy water to drive away all evil influences from their houses, or perhaps to cure the sick. So sometimes they'll take the holy water and sprinkle it on the doors, on the windows, sometimes on the bed. In many cultures, especially I can speak of the Hindu tradition, where there's a bowl of water after certain prayers and festivals, and people bow their heads, and then the water is sprayed on the heads of the people in attendance. Right? It's done in probably the Christian tradition also. It's holy water is sparkled on everyone. You have the concept of holy water pretty much everywhere. So the Great Brotherhood, they go forward and drink together from the golden bowl, one by one. While the rest of humanity, they have their own bowls and they all take a sip from that and take the remainder backwards. So if you've got a bowl of Vesak water, the purpose of the Vesak water is not to sit pretty on your shelves or say that you've accumulated so many things, you consume that water. Consume, consume, consume. Consume and share. So if someone is sick, you can pour that in their water bottle, they can drink that, it purifies. Then what happens? The vast company, the thousands of people who've joined in at the etheric level and the astral, mental, higher levels, they all congratulate everybody that congratulations on yet another year of sending energy to humanity, and then their entire thing breaks up. So just getting into a quick summary of this entire thing. At the exact time of the full moon of Vesak, all participants meditate in an ancient geometric configuration. They are showered with divine light, divine love, and divine power. All their chakras and bodies, physical, etheric, astral, mental, all their subtle bodies are purified and strengthened. The energies released at the time of the Vesak festival gives us the opportunity to receive tremendous amounts of divine energy and to become a channel of service to the world and further become a part of its spiritual growth, its spiritual unfoldment. This is a time when humanity's consciousness can be impressed to a certain degree. This is important. Humanity's consciousness, to a certain extent, is infused with a sense of divine purpose because the planet is aligned with the will of God. So that's why we say, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Remember Twin Hearts meditation? Prayer of St. Francis of Assisi? How many of you remember Twin Hearts meditation? We'll be doing that in some time. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love, and all those beautiful things. So in order to make this alignment happen, the work of both the Christ and the Buddha, Lord Maitreya is the Buddha consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Christ consciousness, same energy. Same energy. So you can also think of Lord Maitreya as Lord Jesus. Same energy source, same divine origin. All the world teachers come from the heart of God. So Lord Buddha there, sending that blessing and power down, Lord Jesus / Lord Maitreya, those energies together coming in. So when you think of Lord Jesus, what do you think? Love. That's the first thing that comes, right? Love. And when you think of Lord Buddha, you think of light or intelligence, wisdom. So light and love come together to give humanity power. How's that? Light, with the help of love, comes together to give power, to empower humanity. How's that for an interesting bit of information? Interesting, not interesting? How do you find that one? Interesting, right? So to create this alignment, the work of both the Christ and the Buddha are needed to preserve contact with the Lord of the world. That's again a super developed person, spiritual being, enabling him to create 5 points of energy, the 5-pointed star of humanity. It's a powerful image that you need to keep in your mind. A star whose points consist of the Lord of the world, the Buddha, the Christ, the Manu, and the Lord of civilization. The 5 points of the 5-pointed star in the geometric formation, the intersecting points, the Lord of the world, the Buddha, the Christ, the Manu, and the Lord of civilization. All of this, I'm just giving you the names and details of it. It's there if you're interested in our Esoteric Study Club book session. I'll share the link on the chat. You can buy those lessons. The blessings last for only 8 minutes. Therefore, the exact date and time of the full moon must be precisely coordinated. A core group of 21 spiritual practitioners is needed to conduct the Vesak ceremony. This 21 individuals, they're arranged into groups of 5, 7, and 9. So now, do you remember, for those of you who've been attending for some time, sometimes you have these groups in the center, circle of 5, circle of 7, circle of 9. You're also asked to face east. The 5 innermost people form the golden 5-pointed star, followed by the rings of 7 and 9. So kind of like what you see, what looks like Captain America's shield on the right-hand side over here. Interesting stuff everywhere, huh? So I just go back down, see that thing here? Maybe let me just go back up a few slides instead. There we go. 5-pointed star, circle of 7, circle of 9, all of that happening, 21 people, great people doing the work. And coming back here, the blessings last for only 8 minutes, therefore the exact time. That's why people make such a big deal of it. Meditation starting at exactly this time. Full moon of Vesak at 10:53 or 10:54 or 22:13, exact time. because that period of stillness. And it's in those 8 minutes that you have to reach the peak of the meditation, which is the quiet part. When you are there in that quiet part, that's when Lord Buddha's blessing comes straight to you. Why? Because like water, it finds the channel which is open. Everyone faces east. The 5 innermost persons form that golden 5-pointed star, followed by the rings of 7 and 9. So Vesak is a time of festival which links east and west, Buddha and Christ, Shambhala and hierarchy, purpose and love. Light with love, bringing power. So you have the Eastern traditions and the Western traditions. And think about it, if you look at just the people around, all people from different parts of life. So it doesn't matter if you're from whichever religion or whichever faith or whatever you believe in. Vesak is that one time which links East and West, Christ and Buddha, whoever you believe in, Shambhala and hierarchy, purpose and love. According to Holy Master DK, Master Dajalko, no cost is too great to pay in order to be of use to the hierarchy at the time of the Vesak festival. This is a spiritual non-negotiable. Make yourself available. Whether you can do it in a group or you're joining in online or connecting part of your consciousness, no price is too high to gain the spiritual illumination which can be possible. This is how Vesak works. So, how was that information? Found that interesting? Interesting stuff? Okay. I'll request you, if you found that part interesting, then on the main group chat, on the WhatsApp chat, to kind of share this so that we can get more people interested in the whole thing. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat while I quickly go and prepare the meditation. We're going to do the same Vesak version, short form today, and get into it. Before that, someone had a question in the group that I recall. Why do we wear the shawls, or why do we have these mats, which we do? What happens is the energy, I'm giving you the short version, the short answer, right? What happens is the energy becomes impregnated in the materials. So if you have a meditation mat or a meditation shawl that you are using for the purpose only of meditation, you can get into a high degree of awareness just by wearing it. So if you look in the group chat, there are a couple of people who are in their meditation shawls. They're wearing it over their head. Some people cover it even more. It makes your meditation that much deeper. That's why certain cultures, when they're praying, they'll wear a certain kind of cap or they'll wear a certain type of gown. You must have seen that. Okay. So when you are going into it with purpose, even when you're doing your Twin Hearts meditation, if you have your meditation shawls or mats which you're sitting down on, it's going to make that meditation that much deeper. There are more layers to it. I'm just giving you the super short version of it. All right. So I hope that helps. If there are any more detailed questions, ask that in the chat. We'll get back to you. I'm stopping the recording as of now, and we'll get into the meditation. Please give me a couple of minutes. All right. In the meantime, please sit still, be aware, connect your tongue to the palate, and do some breathing. All right. Blessing. Blessings be to all. You can continue blessing others as you want. You can continue blessing your wishes. We hope this meditation was useful. You can gently open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes. You'd probably feel a sense of lightness in your space. You can do the meditation some more if you want, if you need. Make the most of it. The energy will still be there 24 hours later, tomorrow, so Sunday, and you can carry on. So may you all be blessed with good health, happiness, long life, and all the beautiful things. So in conclusion, we have some questions in the chat box. The next Vesak participation will be the different perspective. Thank you. Thank you so much. Glad that we were able to add a little bit more insight. So one question here is, should we finish the water by the next Vesak or keep the same water bottle for as many years possible? Consume it. Vesak water, like money, is only useful when it is being spent, when it is being used. There is no point in storing it and looking at it and making a collection of bottles. Utilize it. Use a cap full of water, put it in your drinking water, drink it. Okay? If it's there, consume it, consume it. Don't just keep it. It's become stagnant energy otherwise. Water is only helpful when it's moving. Consume it, consume it, consume it. Use it, use it. Can you share briefly what some of the colors mean? What some of the colors mean? The colors of Vesak? Okay, so there are two types of flags, some which include green and other colors. The other ones, so in the particular sequence where you had blue, yellow, red, white, and orange, very quickly, blue represents here universal compassion. The golden yellow symbolizes the middle path where you have balance and mindfulness, balance of heart and mind, balance of heart and soul, balance of intellect and power. The red part represents practice. Like when you're doing practice, I think it represents wisdom, virtue, and dignity. You'll have to look that part up, but it represents the practice that you do. Okay, so it's dynamic practice. The brilliant white that you saw, that is the purity of the teachings, and the scarlet, or in some cases orange, that represents the wisdom of the teachings. So one is purity, one is wisdom. So fun fact, if you look at the Buddhist flag, if you look for it online, you'll find that those are the colors which are represented. Why do some people wear shawls on the head? Well, we explained that because when you're wearing the shawls, then the energy comes to you. It's like you're able to tune back into the energy. It gets impregnated. Why white? It's a universal color. Okay, white contains all the other colors. White light contains all the other ones. Some people wear violet shawls, some wear blue, some wear golden. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Okay, it just people, I guess people feel nicer when they're wearing white. Okay, so that's there. Some people wear the Buddhist monks, some of them wear maroon or scarlet, some of them wear golden. So the color is not really so important, but the material is important. Like you don't want to be wearing a leather scarf, you don't want to be wearing a silk one because that has an insulating property. So electromagnetic effects. Cotton is really good. So that's there. So it's not just white only. Why did we do? Oh, that's an interesting question. Why did we do another style of meditation yesterday instead of the usual Vesak version? Why do we do one version of Twin Hearts? Why is there chakral Twin Hearts? Why is there Twin Hearts with self healing? Why is there Twin Hearts for peace and illumination? Different versions for different types of energies that are coming in. It's all a part of the same thing. So, hope you enjoyed this particular meditation. Different people use different color shawls, as you can see that. If you found it useful, a request, we read all the comments. Hengame and I, we read all the comments, and we are humbled by the compliments that we receive. If you can share your experiences and your insights and thoughts on the groups, it encourages more people. It's not just she or me or other people coming in. It's about us, the group itself. Okay. So that's an important part of it. Share your group and your experience and how you can help other people. Like you found the insight about the colors useful, put that over there. As you write it down, maybe your memory will be, your recollection of the teachings will become stronger. If you found the part about Lord Maitreya or Lord Christ useful, write that part. So it encourages people to come back in. We love the compliments, of course, but we want to all grow together, not just become, it's not a party of one or two people. So that's there. So just one or two more questions over here. Is it permissible for a pranic healer to donate blood after doing Vesak meditation? That depends on your blood count, whether your HB and your blood sugar levels, whether you have good blood or not. Ask your doctor if you can donate blood, if you're qualified to donate blood, why not? All right. If you've had any visions or anything you've seen, that's probably better um, to have that on a personal chat than for everyone else together. So we'll keep that separately. Very good time to keep on donating. So even after we end the session, please take 2 minutes to bless your wishes, your targets, your work and your finances, your bank account, increase the bank balance over there. If you have any people that you need to forgive, that to be done, please do more of that. The recordings are shared in the group. Please follow those. Okay. Happy Vesak, everybody. Thank you for joining in and giving us this chance to work together. Take care. Atma Namaste.